Mario since like 94, 95.
Oh, really?
And this here was drawn by an artist friend of mine, Callie Robb. He's done a bunch of murals for like downtown Biloxi and Ocean Springs and stuff, and he does like pop culture stuff like this just to sell. And this is the original. I bought it for like $40 from him. I was like, dude, let me buy that and put it behind me for the shows.
Yeah. I I have a was it a Day of the Dead Raccoon Mario T-shirt that's
Mm,
just skeleton Raccoon Mario. I'm a big fan of Raccoon Mario.
that's all. As you can
Oh
tell,
yeah.
I'm a huge Mario fan back
Yeah.
here. Let me turn on my little Mario here. And
Very
also,
cool.
I've got this on display. This is the one of the variant Super Mario Brothers boxes where
Yeah.
Brothers is over the hand and not right here. So this is worth a lot of money.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Probably the most expensive thing I own right now, besides my car.
I have a Father's Day card. Um,
Yeah.
so I
well,
have a life.
well, when you're my age, Jacob, you'll have stuff that actually is worth something.
Yeah.
God damn it. That's so fucking dark.
I hope you and him and our friend Wally are like huge into the pop figures, as you can see
Oh
behind
yeah.
him. And like,
Yeah, I have a whole fucking wall.
I love pop figures, but they're like the Beanie Babies of today. They're gonna be worth jack shit in like 10, 20 years because everybody's gonna have them.
I'm the only one without a collection behind me.
Yeah, but you got some nice posters back there.
Yeah, I just have some art prints and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. I like your cartoons too, man. I
Well, thank
love
you
your
very
stuff.
much.
I see your stuff all the time. Like when I
Yeah.
looked up your website, I was looking, I was like, man, I see these things like as memes on Twitter all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're out there. They float around.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Actually, we should be saving this for the show. What are we doing?
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
We're live anyways, aren't
Yeah,
we?
yeah, we are. We're on Twitch right now.
Okay. Well, someone was able to
Yeah.
consume that conversation.
All right. You ready, Jacob?
Yes, sir.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Aquaries is a three-person business with nearly 30 years of entertainment experience between them, them being local musician Zachary Perkins, local comedian Patty Dwyer, and local videographer slash musician Dalton Roan, aka Daltanius. If you need help getting that song radio ready, getting the music video done, putting on the retelling of Othello for your sister's gender reveal party, they're here to help and guide you and construct the pathway you need to put those ideas into real life. On July 5th, Daltanius will be releasing his second album, Resonant, and on July 31st, you'll find Patty Dwyer and Zachary Perkins performing at Red Radio Productions' Red Sky, and on August 7th, you'll also find the two performing for the Juke Joints Fret for Pets 3-day charity
So will
extravaganza.
I. With Falls
Oh,
from Grace.
really?
Yep.
Oh, I feel left out. I'm the one fucking piece of shit who's
You can come
not
stand on
helping.
stage with me. You can stand next to the drum set and just kind of,
Save the dogs,
yeah,
please.
save the puppies.
Be sure to not only follow Aquarius on Facebook and Instagram, but also Zachary Perkins to stay in the know on his upcoming album Inertia. Daltanius is dropping his second music video, and of course, Patty Dwyer for her upcoming features and showcases. This episode is also brought to you by BJ DeBlow, that dirty motherfucker. He knows what he did.
Yeah, he knows
He would have
what he
started
did.
his own episode, or he would have started his own podcast, but he's too fucking chicken shit.
That damn BJ to blow.
Stupid motherfucker. Start the music.
Ooh, that music can only mean one thing. It is time for the Open Micers podcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm the BJ DeBlow of stand-up comedy, Jacob Craig. And
Don't make fun of BJ too much. He'll take away his funding for the show.
I think that's what he wanted. He literally paid us to fucking make fun of him at the beginning of every episode.
Okay, I'm fine with
But so our guest tonight is someone who is quite possibly one of the best one-liner comics on the planet right now. You know him from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Comedy Central. You can see his cartoons in The New Yorker, and you can see him live at the Alabama Music Box July 14th in Mobile, Alabama. It's right around the corner. We'll go ahead and put that ticket link in the bio for you. So all you have to do is click on it and buy a ticket. please welcome Erik Bergstrom to the show. How you doing today, man?
Hey, thank you for having me. How you guys doing?
Doing good tonight.
Yeah. Is
Having
it Yeah, I'm looking forward to going down to Mobile. You guys live right near the Alabama New Music Box down there? Or?
We're about what,
It's
30
right
minutes?
around the corner. It's close.
Yeah, we're about 30 minutes away.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, it's all the Gulf Coast. So you know,
Yeah.
on the Gulf Coast, everything like the furthest you can get is like 3 hours away. Is like the
Okay.
end of the Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
So tell us a little bit about. I just want to ask you where you got your start with everything, because you kind of do what I want to do. Like you're cartoonist. You do jokes. You act. Like where was your start in the entertainment industry?
So, I guess I'd always been cartooning since I was young. I studied illustration in college, and I had the whole time I was in college, I wanted to do stand up, but I was deathly shy, so I didn't start to do stand up until I moved to New York. Um, when it's but I do think it's kind of interesting that like cartoons and jokes, they're both communication, and it's all about sequencing,
Yeah.
in my opinion, at least. So they're not entirely, I mean, obviously they're not entirely dissimilar, but I look at them more similarly than some people maybe. But to answer your question, where did I get my start? I got my start in stand up at I guess the first place I did was here in New York, the Creek in the Cave, before they moved down to Austin, and then I just started doing a bunch of clubs here. And then I'm originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'll go back there and do shows there sometimes. But yeah, I started here.
Awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah. Because you kind
of
of did the same thing I did. I got my college degree in art basically, and wanted to do illustration and stuff like that, but life kind of took me on a 800 different ways pathway to get kind of where I'm at now. I mean, I still do a little bit of cartooning and stuff like that, but it's one of those things where I'll cartoon a lot for a period of time, and then I won't touch it for like a year. Then I'll come back and do it a lot, and
I'm the same way. I've been doing more cartooning during the pandemic just because everything's been shut down, and there hasn't been a lot to do. But now it's like it ebbs and flows. I guess it takes me a day or two to like really switch modes between doing stand up and cartooning. Some people are a little bit more seamless, but it is. I like doing both. But when you say you studied illustration, did you study it to do like illustrations in like magazines and that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, mainly I wanted to be. When I was younger, I wanted to be Drew Struzan. That's who I. He you know the name because he did the posters for E.T., all the Indiana Jones posters. He did the Goonies poster, Big Trouble in Little China. Like he did all those movie posters. And
very flat looks.
Yeah, like you see a Drew Struzan poster and like that's a Drew Struzan poster. Like he was my hero growing up, and that's really what I wanted to do. But I'm good at cartooning, but I'm not good at like realism when I draw.
Yeah, those are like high detail watercolors, right?
Yeah. Well, he mostly uses I think he uses like acrylics and colored pencils. And he does use some watercolor for those.
Okay. I mean, they're beautiful.
Yeah, he uses all sorts of different techniques to get those posters to look the way they do. That's why he's so emulated. Like you see a lot of posters that look like his, but then you're like, oh, okay, that was done. That's definitely somebody that was a Drew Struzan fan.
Yeah. They don't make things that, I guess they've gotten more graphic. They don't make things as that epic anymore for movie posters, do they? Or do you still see that around ever?
You don't really see that anymore. Like movie posters now are more just kind of like Photoshop, where you'll take like, the main person of the movie like and just put their face really big, and then you just put a bunch of blue and orange everywhere.
And slap a few catchphrases on there. Yeah. And then I guess there are. I'm having trouble thinking of any that are, but I know I've seen some illustration posters that are like pretty graphic, like just they are a little bit more cartoony, but that was a whole era of those posters.
Well, yeah, you look back at like the 50s, and you see all those like painted posters. Like you look back like like Casablanca, and then like all those like 50s sci-fi B movies, and like that whole genre of the way those movie posters look. Like all that stuff was hand drawn and painted, but now everything's done in Photoshop. And not to take anything away from Photoshop skills, but there's nothing quite like that, hand to paper with like, drawing or, using paints and watercolors to kind of make things look just, I don't know, like that certain person's style to make like that kind of artwork.
Yeah, those. So I guess those 80 posters were kind of throwbacks to that era.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Huh. Very cool.
Go check out all of his stuff. He's actually there's a really good documentary about him, just called Drew, and I think it's on Netflix right now. It's fascinating. I love that guy.
Huh. I'll definitely check it out. It sounds good.
And I'll let you talk now, Jacob.
Yeah, thanks. Now that the graphic design nerd fest is out of the way, fucking losers. No, so you mentioned that you sometimes you'll go home to do shows in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Is it like? I mean, is it the kind of thing where you go home? We had Sean Patton on, and I asked him kind of the same question. It's like when you go home from New York to Minnesota, is it like more stressful because you have so many people that you know, or is it more fun because you feel like you're at home? Like, what's the kind of experience like when you go back home to Minnesota?
I feel like, well, with me, I mean, I started here and I started in New York and like did a lot of stuff here. So I feel like I don't know everybody in Minnesota when I go back there, except for people that have bopped back and forth. I think, it's a lot of fun. Certainly, it's not stressful. I wouldn't say it's stressful. I feel like when I go back, I'm a little bit of a stranger more than anything, just because I've toured and gone through and done shows there, but I didn't start there. So maybe Sean Patton has because was a New Orleans guy.
Yeah, he's a New Orleans cat.
Yeah. So like, I think I don't know how many years he was there doing that before then, but for me, it's just it kind of feels like touring other towns, except for I know the place from growing up.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like strange in the sense of the comedy scene, but like the favorite place to eat already.
Yeah, exactly. And my mom's there, so
yeah.
I would always be afraid to move away from the coast area and like actually start making a name for myself, and then like I'm gonna come back home and do a big show, and then I put on a big show and like nobody shows up. They're just like, fuck you.
Yeah. There's I once did a show. It was on I was there for, what was it? This was like 9 years back. I was there with Jesse Joyce at the Mall of America, and I was doing, was it half an hour to open, and my mom and my aunts all showed up, and I was doing like 20 minutes in. I couldn't remember. I just kind of blanked out on all material that wasn't clean, and I just had to do like 8 minutes on sex and strippers for my mom and aunt. And that was a blast. They were very, very sweet about it. They thought it was funny, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm always scared to death my parents are gonna show up to one of my shows and hear some of. They've already heard some of my jokes that I've put on Facebook, and they're not fans.
Yeah.
My mom comes to literally every single one of my shows.
It's because your mom is awesome.
Well, she's also my chauffeur because I'm broke.
Yeah.
But she goes to every one of your shows to heckle? No, I don't know.
She has heckled me before. She literally has.
With love?
No. Not at all. The worst part was she heckles me, and it's funnier than what I'm saying on stage. And I'm like, God damn it, Mom, shut up. But so you mentioned Mobile earlier.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Mobile before? I don't think you have you?
I have not been down there. I'm looking forward to it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you've ever been to New Orleans, Mobile is like diet New Orleans.
Okay, I'm excited for that, because New Orleans can be a little bit. There are parts of New Orleans where it just feels like a frat zombie invasion, like the 24-hour bars. There have been times where I've just gotten drunk and taking pictures of myself pretending to be dead by the river. That's like, that doesn't make any sense, but that's how drunk I was. New Orleans, I love New Orleans, but it can be a bit much.
Yeah, you know what's
Yeah,
weird?
see, that's so you'll definitely like Mobile then.
Okay, yeah.
I love New Orleans. I'm there all the time. And during the height of the pandemic, I had to go over there for something. And me and my girlfriend decided to go into downtown, like the French Quarter and stuff, just to see what it was like. And
Yeah.
it was like a post-apocalyptic zombie movie. Like there was
Absolutely.
nobody out except for like the homeless people, and the streets were actually clean. I was like, this is
What?
so weird. This is the cleanest I've ever seen this city.
It was just homeless people.
Yeah, it was just homeless people and like nobody out. It was so quiet. It was just eerie.
Are you certain those weren't just drunks living their dreams?
I mean, it could have been. There's no real difference.
I don't know. The oh god, and it's not during a hurricane. I'm trying to think. It was at nighttime, right?
No, we went. It was like
during the
4
day.
o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, now I understand. Because during the daytime, I had a similar experience. It was there were people wandering around. Like it kind of had a feeling in the French Quarter where it was like a pirate trailer park. Like that, it was very pastel and colorful, and like jaunty homeless people everywhere, and some of them were giving ghost tours and stuff like that. And then I guess it really fills up with. I mean, I've only been down there for about 3 times, so maybe I'm just throwing out babble. But like it really late at night, it's jam packed.
No, you're pretty accurate. It's like New Orleans is a pirate-filled trailer park.
Yeah, I love it. Po' boys.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's fun in Mobile? What's Mobile like? What's fun to do there? It's that there's not 24-hour bars. I'll take it.
Mm-mm. No, so the bars do close, but there's definitely after bars, what I call them. It's the bar you go to after the bar you're at.
Nice.
So they have like some bars that are open till like 4 a.m. But I mean, if once you're done doing whatever you're there to do, so like after your show, if you just walk through downtown Mobile, you'll find something to get into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you'll find something to do. I was hanging out with Jenny Zagrino Sunday over there for her show. And after the show wrapped, at the bar across the street that has the same owners, they had like a Magic Mike style, like shirtless dude thing going on.
Oh,
so
yeah. Well, thank you for no, I'll be there.
Yeah. No, it's like
I'm
shit like that.
No, to go to that. No, I'm not. But that's cool. Was she excited? That's great.
Everyone thought it was kind of lame.
Okay.
Because they were in jeans and they wouldn't take them off.
Tragic Mike.
That's lame.
Tragic Mike.
Yeah, tragic Mike.
There were so many angry old ladies. They were like, I did not pay this much money to not see butts and dongs.
Yeah, they wanted to see some D.
Yeah. Got to get that vitamin D.
Old ladies are the best.
Yeah, especially drunk ones. You know what you need to do? If you do want 24 hours, basically, you can just head, 35 minutes west over to Biloxi where all the casinos are and just hit up the casinos and stuff.
Oh, cool.
That's right.
That's cool. Was it? I mean, there's probably have you guys had this experience? You guys have done, we were talking about old ladies, just like, what is it? When the bridal showers and stuff like that, what is it called? When the ladies have the last night before they get married, all the girls.
Bachelorette party.
Yeah,
bachelorette parties. Yeah, have you dealt with those at shows?
I've dealt with one.
I think we have.
Yeah, where they sit in the front and have their dick straws and just talk at you.
I mean, they were definitely being rowdy. They didn't have dick straws though.
Oh, you're missing out.
Oh yeah.
Gotta get it. Well, kind of, but yeah, just a lot of. I have a friend who works at a strip club where they have a lot of bachelorette parties, and he's their balloon artist and makes like a bunch of like balloon dick hats and cutlasses, swords with like dick heads and stuff like that.
Oh my god,
women love them.
That's got to be the easiest thing in the world to make as a balloon artist.
It does, kind of. Just twist the end of it, get those peach balloons.
Yeah.
That poor man. How did it, like?
Very
I
happy.
wonder at what point he was just like, oh, I really have to just degrade myself into.
He's fine. He has a severe coke problem, but he's okay.
And he's not a comic.
No. Well, I think he's dabbled, but no.
Okay, I was about to say severe coke problem and stand-up comedy kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, they unfortunately. Yeah, it does sometimes.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
So I know you I saw on another podcast that you try to write 100 one-liners a day.
That's
Yeah.
Is that
crazy.
yeah. My question is why?
Oh, I mean that's something where just to be better at it. Let me see. I might be able to show you if I have a notebook in arm's length what that looks like. Did I put that? Yeah, I write a lot. It's because yeah. So it kind of looks like that.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Just
definitely 100 one-liners.
So
So I had
how do you do that? Like, what inspires you to write that many
it's
one-liners?
just like pages and pages upon that. So it's like I've gotten a little bit more open-ended where it's like I have to work on things every day. And now I still do that several times a week, but there was about 12 years where I did that every single day, 100 one-liners. And now it's sometimes I'll try to like work on a script instead one day,
Okay.
or like because I'm working on like a animated pilot thing, so it's like I'll work on some script writing, or what else will I do? There's like I sometimes do like these fake art history slideshows, so I'll work on something like that. But I still do it a lot of times a week, and it's kind of like it leads to a very specific type of joke, which are one-liners, where it's just like it feels like automatic writing that turns into a logic problem pretty quick. So it's like it's good for initiating things, but it doesn't always lead to like filling things out with a lot of tags as much as I would like.
Gotcha.
So, like, when you're doing your one-liners, what is your process for doing that? Is it like, do you come up with the punchline first and then work backwards, or is it just?
Rarely. A lot of it is just writing a sentence and then it'll occur to me what's like logically weird about that sentence, or sometimes things will just pop into my head as like fully formed things, which is like like maybe this isn't the best example, but like it's weird because like when that happens, I can remember where I was when that happened too. Like I was in the East Village of New York, and it just popped in my head that it's weird that something so unhelpful is called AIDS, which is like because that sounds, what is it? Yeah, and then there's more stuff like that, but it's like
Yeah.
maybe a bleak joke, but it is. Do I ever work backwards? That's a good question. From the punchline.
Because every time I've written a one-liner, that's how my mind works. Like, I'll just think of like a punchline and then work backwards from that. Like, I don't think I could do like where you just write a sentence and then logically think of like what's weird about it. Like, my brain doesn't work that way.
When it comes to working backwards, I think the only way I can think of that I've done that is where it's like a list of something, and it's like an example. It is like Puss and Boots sounds like a hobo's wish list, or like I oftentimes dream of a utopian society where hemophiliacs battle quadriplegics and what can only be known as Bloods versus Crips. What is it? God. Another silly example is like I want to. Maybe this one isn't funny. This is like a deeper cut. I really. Oh shit! I want to make a movie about kids that hang out with a. Oh shit! Okay, I'm not going to say that one, but I want to make a movie where a grandma. Oh yeah, where a grandma is killed by a robot that looks just like her, and then her grandkids have a lot of fun hanging out with that robot called hip replacement. It's dumb, but you can see how it's like working backwards.
Cause see the thing actually it's weird because I feel like you're doing with the one-liners and everything, that's kind of a lost art in comedy now. I feel, because I feel like really like Mitch Hedberg was kind of like the last one-liner comic that, and then after that things kind of changed to where it's more story based
Sure.
jokes. But like the one-liners, like you look back and like it back in the day, what was it like the big comic guys back in like the 50s, and like, who was it, Jack Benny, I think, the guy that take my wife
Yeah.
please, like that's
Yeah.
all he did was just rattle off one-liners. Like he did,
Yeah, Jack
that was
Benny with Rochester. I was lying
Yeah.
about his age and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I love Jack Benny with his violin. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that style of comedy. But it seems like it's kind of a very rare, like it's very rare to come across a comic that can just do like just does those one-liners like that.
I think part of it is that because I started in New York, since it's such a showcase town with like short sets,
Mhm.
like short lengths of stage time and stuff, and there's a lot of comics. I just started to do things shorter and shorter and like hitting as fast as I could.
Yeah.
So like one-liners kind of lend themselves to that. I've done more storytelling stuff since, and actually when I do these shows coming up, I tend to do like a lot of one-liners and then tell personal anecdotes and like kind of switch back and forth, because if it's too many one-liners, I can see how it just rhythmically it can turn into there's a little bit of monotony, or there can be. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully it's all good, but I feel like as like 5 minutes of one-liners is different than 45 minutes of just listening to
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, it feels
Plus,
like it's a more dangerous style of comedy too. Like that just not necessarily dangerous, but it just like a scary style of being that kind of comic, because you have to write so much material to do those
and
one-liners.
I guess write a lot and remember them.
Exact,
too.
that too. There's no way I could remember, 15, 20 minutes of like nothing but one-liners.
Yeah, they're like train cars. If I forget one, it gets
Yeah.
but yeah, is a lot of material, and it can be I guess one thing is that I know how to switch it up now, but like for a while when I was starting out, it can definitely be like living or dying, joke to joke, depending on if you do one-liners.
Yeah.
So, but it's good. It's fun. I mean, jokes are my favorite things
Yeah.
in the world. So, that's what they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know a lot. Well, a lot of people know this. I'm sure pretty much everyone that's been exposed to you knows this because it's such a huge fucking deal. You survived stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
True.
Yeah,
Very
that's.
true. You're not lying.
I know that's a great credit.
Yeah.
That is an amazing credit.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm trying to play it down by saying it's just okay. No, it's great. What is it? Yeah, I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. Stage 4. It was it lymph nodes? I still don't entirely know what a lymph node is, but
Yeah.
they're like these little globules that are throughout your body. It was in my bone marrow too. It was all over, and then I did chemo for 6 months, and it sucked, but it was. I got a lot of jokes out of it.
I was just gonna ask, did you
That
get a
was
lot
also
of
my
material?
Yeah, I got a lot of material. What is it? Yeah, because there's a lot of ridiculous things that happen. One that's a thing, and that it was hard to write during that time because with chemo, it was 6 months. I did 12 times every 2 weeks. I'd have to sit in the chair, and they'd infuse me with poison. I had chest port, so they would put like a little spike in my chest and like fill me up with poison for 7-8 hours. No, about 6 hours. But basically, I got to write every other week because every other week I was just out of it, and then I'd start to feel better for the week following, and I'd be able to write and go down to a coffee shop that I lived by. And then as soon as I started to feel normalish, I'd have to go back into chemo. But it was, let's see, it was not the, it was a horrific experience, but I got a lot out of it, I think.
Were you still able to work any, like go out and do any gigs or anything, or were you just way too?
I did. I still did some shows. I probably did about one show every 2 weeks, and like at like the Upright Citizens Brigade or like Caroline's. Like I drop by places now and then just because I really missed it. But I had to slam like 3 Red Bulls to go do that, which is not very cancer conscious.
Yeah.
Fair, but I thought that if I was already in chemo, it's not like I'd get double cancer.
Yeah.
So
Right. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
I already have cancer.
Exactly. Yeah, it was, and that's also how I got through a wedding too. Or, but it was good. It was, on top of that, it was good because comics were, comics were extremely nice to me. So
yeah,
I'm very thankful to all my friends that like rallied, and then like I always had comedians with me when I went into the hospital for chemo. Like the pandemic was weird. It was because like during chemo, I felt like I was just surrounded by friends constantly. And I thought that was the loneliest I could be. And then with this past pandemic, it was just like isolation, like real isolation. So I look back on that time pretty fondly. Yeah.
So what was it like living in New York during the lockdown? I mean, we had a lockdown for a while here, but I mean, life really didn't change much for us down here in the Deep South. You know, like I'm sure we had a much different version of the lockdown than most bigger cities like, New York and California and stuff.
Yeah, I guess here, since everyone kind of lives like a rat in a little apartment here, anyways, it was claustrophobic in that regard. I definitely bicycled around more than I had ever in New York before, because there's, it's a little scary with the traffic and zooming around. I'll say that in my case in specific, I was living with someone. I was like engaged to a girl, and we broke up like 3 months into the lockdown. And then being instantly single, like there's no way to like go out and date or do anything like that. So I was just locked in solitude after that, because all of the restaurants were closed everywhere. There were not a lot of options. I went on some dates during the winter time where there was only outdoor dining in the cold snow with like heat lamps over you. But it was, let's see, how do I describe the lockdown? There were a lot of protests. So those were everywhere in the city. So I did a lot of those too, and those were good. But then as it got colder, it just turned into a ghost town. So yeah, I don't know.
I just don't think I could handle that kind of solitude. Like my mind.
Oh, I couldn't. I certainly couldn't. I went crazy, but it's good. Yeah. Definitely. I was losing my mind. But there was one point where I took 3 months off of watching TV during that time, and I regret it, because like that's when I really that's when I really lost my mind. I don't know.
That was honestly the best part of lockdown for me, is like I got caught up on everything that I've been wanting to see. I was like, I'm going to watch this and this. And then after about 2 months, I was just like, ugh, I'm all right. I'm ready for like stuff to open back up now.
Yeah, that's what cancer was like for me. Like I caught up on all my TV, and then it felt like it was too much of that again for
Mm.
me. But like, what'd you watch that you really enjoyed? Did you catch anything that you'd suggest?
Well, of course, everybody watched Tiger King during that time, and that was when I started watching Kim's Convenience, which I thought was a really good TV show. Of course, I caught up on a lot of Star Wars cartoons and stuff like that. Man, I pretty much watched everything, like everything that looked remotely interesting to me. Like Love, Death, and Robots, I watched on
Oh,
Netflix,
the,
which is
the animations.
yeah, that's really good. I watched a lot of old wrestling too. At the very beginning of the pandemic, I had gotten a subscription to like the WWE network, so I had
Yeah.
watched like the first like five WrestleManias like one after another. I was like, this
Were
is
those in the
awesome.
80s, or were those in the? Those were the 80s, right? Or were they in like the
Yeah.
70s?
No, it was like I think the first WrestleMania was like what 84, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
because they had
84.
wrestling before that, but it was just but what is it? Did the WWE
Um,
establish itself right before that, or was that did that exist?
What it was back in the throughout the 70s and early 80s was each area of the country had its own separate wrestling like company that ran that territory. Like the WW, well, it was WWF at the time, it's WWE now, was like New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey, like that area. And then you had Mid South Wrestling, which was like, like Tennessee, like that area, like down here in Mississippi and stuff. And then you had wrestling like down in Florida and stuff. And all these different wrestlers would like go to different areas and wrestle for a while, but then they would all kind of end up going back up to New York for WWF. And at the time, Vince McMahon's dad started to like really put WWE on the map because of connections he made with like the TV stations and all that stuff, like the big networks and everything, and pretty much just started buying up all the different competitions until there was WWE and what was the other one in the 90s, Jacob, the
Oh,
NWA?
don't ask me. I don't fucking know.
It was the not the NWA. It was with like night WCW. Yeah, it was
You
like
say
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
NWA?
yeah.
Oh,
Well, there
there-
was North, or was it Northern Wrestling Association or something? Because that's where it's like Sting and like the
And
Nature
Ice
Boy
Cube
came from.
and
Yeah.
Easy E and
No, not
And
that
Dr.
NWA.
Dre.
It was the wrestling NWA.
I'm just
Sure.
realizing I'm in pure darkness here. I'm gonna try to.
That's all right. But
Sorry
yeah,
about that.
it boiled down to it was like the WWF and WCW in the 90s, and then of course you had ECW come along, but WWF just sort of kept buying everything up until they're like the only one left, and for a while,
And then all the wrestlers had no choice but to go to them. And
pretty much, yeah.
interesting. The what is it? I really liked. I caught up on. I mean, you've probably seen that TV show Fargo.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I watched that.
That show
Yeah,
great. And I watched, and then was the same people made that TV show Legion. I don't know if you saw that. It's,
yeah, yep,
yeah, great show. I don't know.
yeah. That show was great. Did you
Yeah,
ever
it's
see
based
Legion?
off of the Marvel comic.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a little cheesy. That's supposed to be like Professor Xavier's son or something, but it's like
Yeah.
they really play with television as a medium
Mhm.
in it. So it's a lot of fun. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like
I tell you something I highly recommend that I watched. Finally got to watch over the pandemic was What We Do in the Shadows.
oh, I love
Oh,
that show.
yes.
That's great.
Show
They
is
got
so
the
good.
emotional vampire character.
Yes.
It's-
Yeah. You look like an extra from that show.
And then when they go the superb owl
Yeah.
party,
Yes.
that's a pretty good time.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a fucking great show for sure. Let's see. How much time do you think we have, Jason?
About 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes? Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to start wrapping it up yet. Let's see what I want to talk about. Okay. I don't want to. Well, I feel bad harping on that too much. Let's talk about roast battles, because I know I was doing my research for this interview and I saw that you have been involved in quite a few scraps in the roast battle world.
Sure.
So what kind of goes into your preparation for doing a roast battle?
I guess with the roast battles, let's see. I guess I've probably done maybe like a dozen plus of them. The I guess with them, they always kind of start out with and a number. Most of them I've known the person beforehand, but there's been a few where I haven't known them very well. And then it's like we'll meet up and just kind of just like ask each other questions about each other, and we'll go into we'll just kind of make lists and I'll note things. And I'll also ask if there's anything that's off the table where they don't want me to mention anything like that. Because some people, I don't know, sometimes you get wind of some things that are, not flattering, or just things that like, I don't know, hurts their feelings or something like that. Even though the whole point is to hurt each other's feelings as much as possible. So I don't, at least with myself, I don't ban any them from bringing anything up. But then usually about after that, once I gather up all these notes, I'll do the same thing where I'll just sit down and like we'll write just a ton of one-liners based on that information, and it can be a lot of fun. There have been some roast battles where it's just like I've had a bunch of jokes, and then I'll think of something that'd be like really weird and funny to do, like only like an hour or two before the roast battle, and I'll have to prepare that. So I'll just be frantic in my living room, like working on something like a maniac. But like one time I made like a children's book.
Yes.
Based on someone and like this oversized book. So I worked on that, and that was ridiculous. And then I can, yeah, I'll show you the cover of it actually. I might get canceled for this.
Oh my God, you still have it.
It's I don't know if you can see it.
Yes. Yes.
It says "Retard Zoo," and then it's him in a cage.
Awesome.
But yeah, that was years. That was back when saying "retard" was very popular. So
Right.
I take it back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all of the Dora the Explorer fans out there. What else is there? It's fun because I guess it gets with the roast, it gets more different. And I'm a mess. Like I had cancer. I have family members that have been like a mess, and then some are dead. What is it like? I drink all kinds of things that they can harp on me about. So it's like there's also some preparation where it's like, oh, I gotta be ready that they're gonna make fun of some things, and that can be a little bit predictable. But like it's always weird to see where that goes. But I guess with that just taking notes on a person and figuring things out. I guess it's really just taking the time to figure out what gets under their skin.
There you go. Okay.
And then just trying to be either really funny or to agitate them. Yeah. Because sometimes they like what is it? Like my friend Eli, I did it against, and he has OCD, and I knew some of the things that got underneath his skin. And then sometimes it's like somebody's grandma just died, and then it's like super indirect. But
so, do you ever do any social media stalking whenever you're trying to write jokes about people?
I've done. Let's see. I mean, some just to try to figure out if they look like a certain celebrity or something like
There
that.
you go. Yeah.
And then I guess there has been like texting. Yeah, I guess this used to happen a little bit more, where each party would like text the friends of the other person to see if there's anything else, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. It's a fun time.
Because that's really where me and Jacob did the most bonding together as friends.
Preparing for a roast battle.
Preparing for the roast battles, because me and Jacob would. Because when I first started doing the roasts, I wasn't good at. Like, I'm too nice, and I don't want to hurt people's feelings, so I needed to break through that wall, and Jacob really, like, pushed me, to get past
I don't value
that.
people's feelings at all.
Yeah, it's like Yeah, I understand what you're saying, where it's like you got to be nice, but I mean, it's like being gladiators or something. Like it's
Yeah.
just like
Right.
psychic. It's part of why I like the show Legion, because there are parts where it's just pure psychic combat,
Yeah.
and that's
Right.
kind of like what it is
Yeah.
when you're out.
Yeah. I mean, the way I look at it is anything that's said into a microphone should not be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, when you're roasting somebody, even you're saying mean things to their face, we said it at a microphone on a stage, so obviously I don't mean it.
yeah. That's the other thing. It's like if outside parties watch the roast battles, and they're like, "Oh, you're being so mean." I mean, a lot of these people are friends.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and even if someone isn't my friend that I'm going up against, it's like I understand what you have to do to win this thing.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna try to take my head off. I'm so glad you kept Retard Zoo because that
give it to him, but yeah, it's thank you.
it's I forgot the name of who Mitchell something. I'm blanking on his last name. That you went up against for that
Mitchell.
roast.
Wait, Joel Wachowski or Joe?
Oh yes, it was Joel. My mistake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The was it he? Although he had some great lines about what was his line? Because I forget. I think I said something stupid like he looks like Peyton Manning fucked Frankenstein or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And he said like it's weird that you
Dude,
it's
that's
weird
all.
after cancer that you say that I look like Frankenstein when machines kept you alive or something like that. So it's I don't know.
Dude,
I
that's
thought it was
almost the exact same roast I did for Brian King, one of
yeah.
the owners of Landmass Comedy down here. I had to go up against him in a roast battle, and I told him that something about he looked like Peyton Manning if he was Frankenstein, and then I was like, save some neck for the rest of us, buddy.
Yeah.
But the
It's not a
funniest
flattering thing.
Yeah.
the funniest thing about that roast was before you pulled out that book. So Joel pulled out a book, and I
Yeah.
don't even remember what Joel's book was about. And then you pull out a bigger, more well-drawn book.
That's
I think-
epic.
Yeah.
Did you know he was planning a book?
I got I knew he was gonna do a rhyme scheme. I didn't know he was gonna do a full book.
That's the best fucking coincidence in the history of roast battling.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna do like a Dr. Seuss rhyme scheme, but I didn't think he would have the actual physical thing. Yeah.
Dude, that gives me so many ideas for future roast battles now.
But
Yeah. What else? The other
Yeah.
thing about the roast battles is I just like wandering the country. Like I've been at Costco, and like a stranger I'll talk to somebody, and then somebody will overhear just my cadence, and they'll just be like, I know that cadence from YouTube, and they'll
Yeah.
recognize me from like a YouTube clip of a roast battle more than any. It's the number one thing that people on out, I guess, just wandering around have recognized me for.
We have a very recognizable voice. I think you need to harness that and do some like voiceover work too.
I also have a Minnesotan accent that comes out when I say like "bag" or "dragon." Yeah.
But before we actually start wrapping up here, talk about your the last album you released, Sirius Goose.
Yeah. I did an album called Sirius Goose. I did it with Comedy Records. What is it? It gets a lot of plays on Sirius XM. Thank God. Yeah, it's really like a culmination of about 13 14 years of my best one-liners and like just personal anecdotes that get pretty dark and serious, like just talking about like my just talking about just ridiculous, they're like really truly silly one-liners, and then talking about like death and cancer, but still finding the time to make fun of the Insane Clown Posse and stuff like that.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I listened to the whole album before we talked, and it definitely is one of the better comedy albums that I've listened to in the last couple of years. It's a great album, man. I very much recommend it to anyone that's listening to us right now.
Thank you. Yeah, it's let's see. I mean, and you can find it if people want to look it up. They can find it on I guess iTunes, and is Apple Music separate from iTunes? I think so. And then even on Spotify if they want to. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And YouTube as well. I listen to the special on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it's out there. And then I do I guess I did like a Comedy Central half hour and a Colbert set. They can probably find that on YouTube also, to be fair.
Oh, so I see on your thing here, the 14th, of course, you're going to be at the Alabama Music Box, and then, of course, you're going to be at the Maison in New Orleans on the 15th. So,
I'll be in New Orleans on the 15th, and then I guess just like I'm doing like a short little southern tour here, where I'm on the 16th I'll be in Lafayette, the 17th I'll be in Houston, and then I'll be in Austin, Texas on the 18th. Yeah,
that's a nice little stretch. Those are some good cities to be
excited. I love the South. I hope it's not. The weather is okay down there now, right? I don't need to be worried about like hurricane season or something like that, do I? That means yes.
I don't know. Always worry about hurricane season between June and Thanksgiving. Like literally, a storm could pop up in like a day.
That's fair. Yeah, that's
just
fair.
Monitor the weather pretty closely, and if any kind of warning comes up, don't take it too lightly.
Keep an eye on Jim Cantori. Wherever Jim Cantori is, that's where the storm's going. That dirty bastard.
But you're gonna be at Club 337 in Lafayette too. That's booked by JP, old JP Leonard. Yeah,
great. I'm gonna actually be doing. He's gonna join me in Houston and Austin to like open up. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man! Send him my regards.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But if you want to get those tickets for any of those shows, go to erikbergstrom.com, and you can check out. You got a gallery here with all your cartoons, videos, contact, and of course where you can get tickets under the shows.
And then it's Erik ERIK. Bergstrom, I guess if they're trying to find that. Yeah.
I'll put the link in the show notes. So if anybody's interested in going to the show, just that'll take you everywhere you need to go. erikbergstrom.com.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
But thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We definitely want to have you back, and hopefully, I'm gonna try to make that New Orleans show because I love going to New Orleans, and I'd love to meet you over there in person.
Absolutely, I'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Yeah, Jacob. Anything else before we leave this evening?
No, I just want to say thank you so much to Erik for joining us. I will likely be at the Mobile show at the Alabama Music Box. I'm good friends with your opener over there, Ryan Adams. And,
Ryan's great.
Him too, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna love Ryan. Ryan's a really good dude.
And you should love Zeke as well. Like if you want to get into something, ask Zeke what's going on.
He's got the hook. Oh, good.
Yeah. Zeke's got the pulse of the city.
Yes.
He's gonna be who's booking it and hosting it and everything. And as far as the show goes, next week we will be doing our monthly host episode that we're gonna squeeze in.
Awesome.
Every month from now on, it'll just be me and Jason just talking, and there's gonna be a lot of bigger name comics coming on the show soon. So stay tuned for that.
But Erik, good luck on the shows, and good luck on the illustrations, dude. I love everything you do.
Thank you so much.
I hope I get to meet you, and thank you for coming on the show. And also, it's at Erik Bergstrom on pretty much everywhere online, right? Like Twitter.
Yeah, I should point that out. On Twitter, it's Erik_Bergstrom.
Okay, yeah.
And then on Instagram, it's I think Erik Bergstrom Rad, because it's just my name then the word rad. That's cool. People asked if it's like a Russian name, and it's just the word rad. But
Well, awesome. If you would like to email us, you can email us at openmicers.podcast@gmail.com. We're at openmicers, Twitter, and of course on Instagram now at openmicers. And go head over to tpublic.com/openmicerspodcast and buy some merch, or just go to ompodcast.com. Takes you straight to our Patreon to help us keep the lights on here at the show. And we'll see you guys right here next week. Awesome. That was a great show.
Yeah, that was so fun, man. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Is there when do you guys think this is going to come out?
This will be released Friday morning, but I'm thinking since you got the show this weekend, I may go ahead and just release it tomorrow night.
Okay, cool. And then well, let's see. Let's see. And then I'll repost it and that'll be great.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll tag you and everything on Facebook and definitely on Twitter. And
cool.
Actually, I think the YouTube video will be out like later tonight because I'm going to import it from Twitch over to YouTube.
Okay. Do you guys with the Twitch following, is that something, have you guys had good experiences with that? I've thought about Twitch before, but I've never really used it.
It goes up and down, really. During the pandemic, my numbers really started to rise, and then as everything's starting to open up, they're starting to come back down a little bit.
Yeah.
But
now that people are
I'm trying to now at this point, I'm just trying to maintain and slowly start building again. So, yeah. It's cool. Actually pretty good. With you being an actual name comic, it might actually be pretty good for you to get on Twitch. It won't take you long to actually make affiliate. I promise you that.
Do you ever play the video games on there and have people watch? Or?
Yeah. I do. Mm-hmm.
They just opened a LAN bar right by here that where it seems like people are like twitching from the bar and their individual.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
There's
love
a lot
Twitch.
The cat ears. It's nice.
Most of the stuff I watch now is Twitch streamers. Like I watch this guy called Arcus, who he holds the world record for Ninja Gaiden speed running on the original in Nintendo, and that's all he does all day is just speed run games. And right now he's working on Ninja Gaiden 2, and like for 8 hours a day he just plays Ninja Gaiden 2. Like that's all he does for like 8 hours a day.
Pays bills with that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish I had known about that as a kid.
Yeah, a lot of podcasters are on here too that you can find. It's just kind of like just get on there and just look around, and you'll start finding interesting people to follow.
Very cool.
And speaking of Twitch, thank you guys for watching, and of course we'll be back in about 10 minutes with Nerd Cave Retro. So we'll see you guys in just a bit.